Okay, so what we're going to do now quickly is just show you a very quick example of some analysis between two different laps. So what I'm going to do is go to driving stats, and Jeremy is a teammate. I'm going to choose him from the drop down there. I'm going to click on the same session that he originally published as a data pack, and what we're going to do is choose one of his slower earlier laps as a comparison to the target lap. So what we're going to do is choose lap 2 of his first stint, and we're going to click on this symbol here to compare that against the target in the analyzer. Now I'm then going to sort the sectors in order of time difference between the two different laps, and I'm going to choose turn 8 for this because this is a little bit unusual, and I'll just explain through now. Just play the lap, and I'll pause it just before he starts to brake in the slower lap. Now you can see that this area here is shaded because VRS is trying to find and highlight an area where it knows there's a difference in input, and it can see time lost in terms of braking. So we can see in the slower lap the dotted line is indicating brake input from Jeremy about 10 meters earlier than the faster data pack lap. So obviously that's costing him time throughout the braking zone, but interestingly Jeremy brakes more gently in the slower lap. Presumably that's in response to having an awareness of braking earlier than necessary, so he's braking less to compensate for that, and in effect is catching back up to where he feels he should be on entry, and he's achieved that by now. So by braking less, he has caught back up and is now basically identical in terms of entry speed into this 90-degree left-hander. And up until this point he's barely lost any time at all. If we look at the delta chart, it's only really through the exit of the corner where the time is lost. So we'll go a bit further on and we'll try and understand why that happens. So play it through. I'm just going to pause it just here because we can see that there is 5% difference in brake pressure between the two laps. The data pack lap, Jeremy is trail braking. Well, he's actually braking, whereas the slower lap he's fully come off the brake, and in this very moment he's coasting. So for that split second the car is just rotating a bit less for him than in the faster data pack lap, where he's still maintaining front load and getting the rotation. So if we just play that a little bit further through, we can see that by the time he goes through the corner he's already slightly wide at the apex, but that really starts to become a problem as we go through the corner. So a little bit of understeer, that little bit of extra apex speed as well. If we look at the delta chart, the speed chart, sorry, and we play it through, we can really see through the exits that on the earlier slower lap Jeremy is really running much wider. We can switch to chase view to show you that more clearly. He's 1.31 meters wider on the slower lap, so relative to where the car is on this data pack lap, the slower lap he would be sort of over here in this area. And to sort of compensate for running wide, he's delayed his application on the throttle. So we can see that's why this is highlighted as well, and takes much longer to reach full throttle. So we can see if we jump a bit further forward, he's reached the exit of the corner now and he's still not at full throttle. Doesn't reach full throttle until like really far along the track, and we can see that that culminates into having a difference in speed, so a loss in speed relative to the data pack lap of 9 kilometers an hour at this moment. And if we play that through, that difference in speed is carried down through the entire entry into the carousel, and that's ultimately where the lap time is lost.